Hello, welcome to 1 Hour SaaS. This is update number 4. Um, so today I was working on a landing page for Podcast Ping, which is the SaaS that I'm working on as a part of this 1 hour challenge. I went one way and then I changed my mind and I went a different way. And I guess we can talk about a little bit why I did that, but before we do that, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's following along on YouTube and Twitter and Indie Hackers and everywhere else I've been posting this stuff. It makes it a little bit easier to spend the time to work on this thing and record the videos and stuff if I know people are watching the videos and hopefully enjoying the videos and looking forward to seeing what I'm working on. So thanks again. So today I worked on a landing page, and for a project like this, normally I wouldn't actually even bother with a landing page because I think I can build the website, I can build the application quickly enough where it's not really worth putting up a landing page. But since I'm doing this 1 hour at a time, it's going to take me, even if it takes me, 8 or 10 hours, that's a week or two's worth of actual calendar time. And I think in that sense, it's worth having some kind of landing page, some kind of coming soon page. I spent some time working on that. I used the branding that I had come up with yesterday. And so I kind of put together this quick little page that looks very much like the 1 hour SaaS .com website. It's very similar in terms of the way things are kind of organized and stuff. And there was a little subscribe box. I picked some alternative branding here and just kind of wrote some very simple copy that kind of talks a little bit about what the application is and kind of what it will do. And after I built that, I kind of sat down and thought about sort of about how I was going to be updating people with kind of what I was doing. And since I'm doing most of that here on 1 hour SaaS, I'm not sure that it made a lot of sense to build like a fully blown landing page for this and have a separate mailing list and have to manage that and have to do all of that kind of stuff. So after I built this, I was like, well, maybe I won't use this. And so I wanted something a little bit simpler and a little bit easier to put together, and also something that was going to be kind of integrated with a way for me to kind of email people maybe once a week just to kind of link them to all the videos that I've posted here. And so I went to Product Hunt and I kind of used their upcoming their ship feature. So I'm just going to go to producthunt.com, and so they have this ship area which allows you to kind of create kind of landing pages and surveys and send updates. So it kind of handles both the landing page and the newsletter functionality all in kind of one thing. It also allows you to build surveys that you can email to people on your mailing list to ask them about features and that kind of thing. And so it's kind of easy. You get to set. I think you get to set up one of these with a Product Hunt account, so it doesn't actually cost anything. So that was kind of what I did. I kind of threw the sort of same logo and stuff and a lot of the same wording in here. And so we now have this Product Hunt upcoming page for Podcast Ping, and people can subscribe and they'll be added to a mailing list, which I can then, probably I'll do once every like 4 or 5 days. I'll kind of batch up everything that I've worked on and just kind of put that into a mailing list just to kind of so people can kind of follow along without receiving these 1 hour updates that kind of everybody else is following along because they're interested. If they're just interested in Podcast Ping and not kind of what I'm doing here, then I think that kind of makes it a little bit easier as well. So that's live now. If you go to podcastping.com, you'll see that it redirects to that upcoming page. That's the easy way to do it. It's going to be fine until I get the application built. I plan on running the actual application on a subdomain, so it'll be like app.podcastping.com. So I can kind of deploy that and leave the sort of upcoming page as is until I'm ready to launch, even until after I'm ready to launch, because that can stay up while, I give access to the actual application to people on the subdomain. And then eventually, once I'm ready, we can build the kind of official marketing page for it and kind of put that up. And I wanted to keep those separate, just because it's good practice to separate the application from the actual marketing page in this case, because they don't need to be on the same thing, and I can kind of split them up, make one a static site, so we don't have to worry about scaling and stuff of the marketing page versus the actual application itself. So that's kind of what I did today. I'd say the sort of trickiest bit for today was just coming up with the right wording here in terms of how are you going to describe what you're doing in 200 characters or less. Even on the page that I built, you still want this to be short and sweet. So just this was probably the sort of most time consuming bit, was trying to figure out what the right words were, keeping them short, but making it clear what the product is and kind of who would be interested in it. So I tried to say, specifically, since we're targeting podcasters, I wanted to put that in there. And then kind of what are you monitoring? So the website for the podcast, the RSS feed, and the audio and the audio files. And then I tried to carry that over into kind of what I wrote here as well. There's no magic bullet here. I think it just takes a lot of trial and error, just trying different sentences and words and seeing what fits and what kind of reads well. And just experimenting. I mean, I spent some time looking at, a bunch of sites that are in this space. So Uptime Robot is one of these where, where they talk about uptime monitoring services and kind of what they are and kind of what they do. There was also like Pingdom is the other one that I've looked at a fair bit. These are obviously all focused on general website monitoring, not obviously specifically for podcasters. So you obviously have to take what they're saying and kind of focus it down kind of onto your niche as well. Also looked at, I think it's Apex is another one that I looked at, just to kind of see, because this is kind of one specifically more focused a little bit on kind of APIs and applications. So that was another interesting one just to look at, to see how they were targeting their specific content, and not just general uptime monitoring and stuff like that. So that's just you just have to look around and see what other people are doing, and then see how you can mold those ideas so that they apply more specifically to what you're actually working on. Hopefully at some point, once I get to actually doing the marketing page, I might reach out to some friends of mine who are actual content and copy people, and kind of and hopefully they can help me out with the actual wording and stuff like that. So that'll come, probably in a few weeks once we get up to that point. So that's my day. I think ended up in a pretty good place. Just wanted to have a way for people to kind of show their interest in podcast paying while it was still being worked on. So that's it. Tomorrow, I think we may actually start working on the actual application now that we've got all this kind of figuring out what the plan is, figuring out what it looks like overall. We have an upcoming page now. I can actually start working on the actual application itself. So we'll probably start that tomorrow. Maybe soon there'll be a live stream at some point if that's something that interests people. I may do that just so you can kind of see how I get into actually writing the applications. So keep an eye out. Okay, hope you guys are all having a good weekend.